a shout out, Todd, because like a lot of people might not know how long you've been in the game for. I mean, Todd, you've been in the game since day one, and not a lot of people might not know it. It's to me, when I see all these guys in the game, I always, I just go, man, you don't know what the game is about because you ain't even been in it. When I see guys like you involved, still involved, and like these new jacks come in, like they may not give you your respect, and they need to give you your respect because you've been in the game just as long as anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, if y'all out there, y'all better recognize Todd been in the game since day one.
All right, so this is Todd Atkins, and I'm here with Destiny McCubbin. Destiny, I appreciate you taking time to do this episode with me. And for anyone who maybe hasn't seen you, you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Destiny McCubbin. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And I kind of know I looked, you saw like you had a number of amateur fights, but you never turned pro. Why was that?
Yes, I had a couple really bad injuries that set me back, and a couple pro fights that I was like gonna schedule, and then injuries canceled them out, and then I was gonna go pro again, and I just kind of lost the fire. So I haven't really fought in a while. I don't know if I'm gonna do any more or not. I haven't decided.
Was it just that stuff wasn't happening?
No, I was just the injury set me back. I had a
Oh,
couple of back-to-back surgeries. Yeah.
okay. So recently I saw you kind of you're diving into this power slap thing a little bit. I want to ask you first, like, how did this come about? Did they approach you? You approach them? How does that work?
No, my manager, Danny Ruby, brought it up and just said, if you want to try it, they're paying well. Uh, and I have a lot of things going on right now, so I thought it'd be cool to gain some, try to gain some exposure. It's up and coming, so I think it's a good place to do it. And yeah, the money, obviously.
But I mean, you've been watching it, so from the outside looking in, you're about to do this. What were you thinking, like when Danny came and asked you to do this? What were you thinking, kind of?
The first time he asked me, I wasn't into it. And then after thinking about it, and then I had some friends do it, and then my mind kind of started to change, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. But it wasn't like an immediate I was going to do it. I had to go to the slap thing, the slap camp that they had, and it kind of was like, see if they even like me or whatever. And then, like, maybe like a month later is when I got a call.
Tell me about the camp. Like, what is this slap camp?
It's the first day it's kind of like they go over, you like watch a lot of training videos. You go over like a lot of the rule sets and stuff like that. You run some testing, like they do some slap power testing, like neck strength testing, things like that. And then the second day is more like where you're actually working on the slap portion of it. um yeah, it's just a 2-day thing, quick and easy.
And so you're taking on somebody. I think she's like a pro wrestler or something.
Yes,
It's
Zoe
kind of
Dubois.
that's kind of a weird style, a look.
Yeah, I think she's the Black Swan. Yeah.
Right. So, what do you know about like your opponent, so to speak?
Not too much, honestly. I know that she does that. I know that she does dance. She's a dancer also. So she's obviously a fit athlete, she's gonna come strong. I don't think she's been in any combat sports, other outside of wrestling, but I mean, she's still strong and physical.
And when is this event for people? Maybe I know you're not. You were talking on your Instagram. Maybe you're not on the. Can they view it? The part your actual fight.
No, it's I'm on the early prelims, which is pre-recorded, so they won't see it until like later on that day, or even maybe like after the event, like the next day or something like that. Just depends when they actually air it.
And
But
when is
unfortunately, yeah, not me.
when is your particular event?
It's June 27th. I think the actual event starts at 7, so I'd assume, I don't know, maybe between 2 and 4 I would compete.
Now, is there anything you're doing out of the ordinary to get ready for this, or Out of the ordinary meaning something you haven't already done before?
Um, Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's like obviously I'm doing like one of my training sessions throughout the day is now, or slaps, practicing my slap, which as I've never done that before in my training regimen. But I mean, just still doing my strength and conditioning, just tweaking that to help me more so like in my technique with slap and doing like honestly, I've been doing a lot of old school boxing workouts for like my neck and jaw, so. I mean, I did that coming up in boxing, but I haven't done it in a while. So re-adding that back into my regimen.
But I mean, do you have someone holding a mitt so you can hit it, or are you hitting the bag that way, or?
Yeah, normally like like I said, when I training, when I have my power slap training or my slap training, it's usually somebody hitting a holding for me to hit. I've done some bag work too as well, slapping the bag. I think that that's important. Just like you punch the bag to punch harder, it works out the same. So I've done that a little bit too.
Now, I've been seeing you've been doing a lot of stuff as far as like podcasting type stuff or interviewing. What made you decide to kind of start doing that?
Honestly, it just kind of like spiraled into that. I was presented an opportunity to ring announce, which I'm actually going back this coming weekend to go do that for their second show. But I was presented an opportunity in doing that, and then Millions.co reached out to me and asked me about if I was interested in interviewing fighters, and I always knew like I wanted to stay within the game, no matter like if I wasn't competing or not or fighting still, like I wanted to be involved. And then so when the ring announcing came, I was like happy about it. And then when they asked me about interviewing, I was like, sure, like maybe like I'll try it. So I did it and then I loved it. So then I kept doing it and then reaching out to people to actually interview them, stuff like that. And then somebody just told me that I should start a YouTube channel, and like after that, just freaking spiraled. All this started in February, so it's all taken off very fast.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I kind of saw that you were becoming more visible um, in the space, doing different things.
Yeah, kind of all over. But I love it. I love just being involved in the game, all of it.
What'd you think about using millions? I mean, I messed around with it some, but
I like it a lot, especially because I was just starting, and so I use it as practice. It's kind of like my training for this, because all of this is a skill in and of itself, knowing how to talk and how to listen to people, a lot of that, and come up with good questions, sometimes like having to do things on the back. So I use Millions as like a practice for that and just getting comfortable talking to different people and different personalities. Um, but then even like I like working with them because even the stuff that I post to my YouTube channel, they are willing to help me out with that as well, like making me clips and uploading it to Millions as well, just to try to get more, more eyes on it. So yeah, I love it. It's a good
now
team.
tell me about like some of your training background before you start doing the MMA fights.
Boxing. I just boxed.
You just
But I
box.
mean, it was all kind of like around the same time. Like I started boxing and I boxed for like 2 years, and then I transitioned to MMA, and yeah, it's just been that since pretty much since. I've gone back and forth to boxing during while I was still doing MMA, but yeah, it
Now,
was
have you ever
awesome.
thought about maybe trying to turn pro in boxing? I mean, there's a lot of women's boxing that's pretty visible these days.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. I'm like I definitely have the competition bug again. So this is slap is not going to be the last time you see me compete. I've also been focusing a lot on jujitsu, which I want to keep trying to compete in that and leveling up in that. Um, and yeah, I've definitely been looking at some boxing things. Maybe TCL Team Combat League is maybe looking nice. I know some of the Las Vegas Hustle team and coaches. So yeah, that's a possibility.
Now, have you always been in Vegas, or did you move there?
I moved here 8 years ago from Utah. I'm from northern Utah.
Yeah, tell me about that because I have talked to some other people that moved there before, so I kind of want to hear your story about moving there.
To Vegas?
Yeah,
Oh, I love Vegas. I love it. Vegas is my city. Vegas is more home to me than home.
right. But when you did it, why did you do it?
For fighting.
For fighting period,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
100%.
And what did you notice when you get there? Because it's hard to believe I've never even been to Vegas. I've lived in Japan. I've lived in Hawaii. I grew up overseas. I just
Wow.
never got out there for whatever reason.
Where
And
do you live now?
I live in Oklahoma. That's where
Oh,
I'm from originally. But yeah,
okay.
I lived in Saudi Arabia. I lived on Oahu for 14 years. I lived in Japan. I've been around all this different stuff, but I never got out to Vegas for whatever reason.
I'm surprised. Yeah, no, it's a great place, but it's like it's different. If you were to come, you're the Vegas you would experience, and the Vegas I know would be so different because you would come and do the touristy thing, but there's so much more to Vegas than just all of that strip life and all that stuff.
But tell me, when you got there, maybe for the first time, what did you think?
Um, I was scared. I was young. I was only 21 years old. I came by myself. So I was just scared, but it just seemed like a huge, big city. But now I realize it's a very small town. It
But how was that? Like, because there may be somebody else who's thinking of doing that. I've talked to some other people, like I talked to,
was hard. It was
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
It was hard. You have to just keep going. Like, I don't know. It wasn't maybe for maybe someone else's journey would be easier for different reasons, but mine was hard.
Yeah, because you didn't know anybody, probably, right?
I had like a couple training partners. That's why I moved here was to train with some people. Like Sharon Blissmas, she was my main training partner for a good 5 years, and so I moved here to train with her.
And were you living with her, or did you have to find some spot, or?
Yeah, like I couch surfed for a little bit, and then was able to get my own place. Lived with her for a little bit.
Now, is that what a lot of fighters do when they first come to Vegas? So they kind of live in that similar life to what you were doing, you think, or?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people just rent a room, get where they can get. Hopefully, you find a good spot.
So it's kind of like Hollywood for fighters, maybe.
No, I wouldn't say
You
that.
don't think
I
so?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's people come and do what they got to do so they could get the training that they need.
Right, but they come there with a dream, like,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you can call it Hollywood for fighters. It's the fight capital of the world.
yeah. Do you feel like it's more transient, or is there a lot of? Because I felt like when I lived on Oahu, there was a lot of that. When I lived in Japan, I saw a lot of people that would come with nothing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I came with nothing. I came with the clothes in my closet. That's it. So yeah, I think when you're coming out here to chase a dream, especially something like fighting, you just come. All you need is your gear and yourself. So
And so you've been there now, what, 8 years, you said?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How has your life in Vegas changed since then?
Oh, a lot. My friend group, my work life. I live alone now. Like I don't do roommates. I don't rent rooms. Like I live alone. I have a dog now. So yeah, it's changed a lot. It's been a lot of growth. I drive a truck now.
Like a truck for work, or just truck?
Just a truck.
Yeah, okay. But I find it interesting because, like I said, I mean, I was in the military, but I knew so many people that came,
Hmm.
especially to places like Tokyo with nothing, which is pretty gutsy to do. Japan's very expensive, you know.
Right.
800 bucks won't last you long at all. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I met a lot of people like that. So I always thought it was kind of fascinating to see people do that.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And there's lots of people probably out there who, like I said, might find inspiration from what you did or how you
Yeah.
did it.
No, I mean I always tell people chase their dreams and just you gotta it ain't for everybody, but give it a try. Like try it. Like Vegas. Well, I mean Vegas anyway. um, but yeah, you should always chase your dreams.
Let me ask you about this. There was this the shooting that happened on the strip. Like, you live in Vegas. You've probably been up and down the street a bazillion times. What do you? I just want to hear from your perspective, someone who lives in Vegas. Like,
What
what
was
was your
shooting?
reaction?
The
Where
big
you had
one?
these two YouTubers, or one YouTuber shot another that had been kind of giving him a hard time for the last couple of years. You didn't see that?
No.
Wow. Yeah.
No, I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
One of the guys was an entertainer on Fremont. He wore face paint and stuff. He kind of dressed in Hispanic style,
Hmm.
And the other guy, I guess they had an altercation maybe 2 years ago in 2023. The guy was telling him, "Look, don't record me. I just want you to watch my performance. Don't record me." And the guy's wife was a little drunk, so she came up, and started recording him, like stuck her hand, and he maced her in the face. Yeah, her and him. So they got in an altercation. Some of the other street performers got into it too. So the guy goes back to Arizona, where he's from, and yeah, he's just dogging this performer for the next 2 years, basically nonstop. Like trying to get his YouTube channel taken down. They were both kind of messing with each other, and so he got around to the idea. He got this in his infinite wisdom, I guess. He decided to come back to Vegas, and the guy warned him, "Don't come back here." you know, the guy, the performer said, "If you come back here, I'm gonna find you this time."
Hmm.
He made it in no uncertain terms, and that's what he did. They're outside in front of the Bellagio live streaming, and he shot him and his wife. Yeah, both of them.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that's wild. It kind of fascinated me. I don't know why, but you've probably been up and down that street, see these performers and stuff. Does that seem odd to you that would happen, or no?
And no, I mean Vegas is. I mean, no, I don't think nothing surprises me in this world anymore. People are crazy.
Yeah, and you see a lot of that when I lived on Oahu, Waikiki, like that. You have a lot
Hmm.
of these performers, people who come with nothing, kind of like what you're talking about, and they do whatever they have to, and it's just
Yeah.
this situation to become like that's kind of
Right. Yeah.
just a wild situation.
So crazy.
So tell me about. I know you were training at Extreme Couture, right?
I'm a syndicate MMA.
Where's that? Or I
It's
mean, you weren't you training there before? Or?
oh yeah, I trained there. Yeah, I trained as extreme tour for like 5 years.
So tell me a little bit about that. Obviously, that's one of the gyms that you see a lot of fighters come out of these days.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was there for 5 years. It was good. I just needed a break, and then I went to boxing, and then after, yeah, it was good though. It was a good gym.
Yeah, it's, and so maybe let's get back to kind of the projects you're doing. I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe tell me about your YouTube channel, kind of what you're trying to do with the projects and the announcing.
I don't really, I'm just trying to, I just want to like, interview fighters, talk to them about their journey, or, they have an upcoming fight, give them a place to promote that. Um, be at events, getting footage at events, interviews at events with fighters that have something coming up, or things like that. And then my announcing is just kind of something I do on the side. It started there, but it's not like where my heart's at. It really, I'm just doing this because I already worked for All Heart Promotions, which I have a lot of love and respect for. So I'm gonna go do it again.
And so I know you did some stuff like a Fight Pass too. Um, what do you think about like your first experience doing stuff on Fight Pass and what?
Um, I think it's good that I just work for Tough Enough and they have Fight Pass, so it's not necessarily me, but yeah, no, I think it's great, that they have that coverage for us, and yeah, I think it's awesome. Hopefully, like I can, keep doing something like that.
Now I want to ask you about like the interviews, like the ones you do on Millions versus the one you do on YouTube. I know Millions has a lot of like I would say newer fighters, perhaps,
Uh-huh.
from my experience. What do you think about like the challenge of? Because it was kind of challenging for me to when they would have me interview someone I knew nothing about them. Like, how did you feel like that experience was?
I mean, it's the same. It's fine to me because I just go and do a bunch of research on them.
Hmm.
I study them, their career, their background, where they came from. Do a lot of digging.
Yeah, Yeah, I felt like it was kind of challenging because some of them I couldn't really find a lot, or maybe they had one fight or two
Yeah,
fights.
well, then in that case, I just, try to come up with a couple easy questions that could spark into a conversation to get to know them. And usually within that conversation, you'll come up with more questions. They'll say something.
Now you mentioned like it wasn't necessarily that this was your passion. What is your passion exactly as far as
I like doing the interviewing and the podcast, commentating, things like that. I like, having my podcast. That's probably my passion now.
for now?
Now.
For now,
No, now, yeah.
yeah. Now, tell me about like some of the events. Obviously, you're interviewing people, but I want to know kind of. I know you obviously you're watching UFC events and stuff like that. Like, what are some of the fighters that you prefer to pay attention to, or maybe do you really pay attention to all of them, or
I mean, yeah.
how do you take in the sport?
I feel like whoever's fighting, I'm just paying attention to. I'm locked in. I don't think that there's any fighter that I feel like I pay attention to more. I guess like on the big cards, maybe I get like a little more excited. But no, any fight that I'm watching, I pay attention to all of them. I feel like the same.
Is it a challenge though, because you're living inside Vegas, you're around this stuff all the time? Is it hard to keep watching over and over, or is it easy?
No, I love it. Like a perfect day for me is just sitting at home on the couch with watching some fights and maybe eating some snacks after a long training.
Because you hear some people saying, "Oh, there's so many events, it's difficult for them to find the motivation to watch them all." I think, or the
Hmm.
excitement. You
No,
don't
there
feel that
are
way.
there are a lot of events. Yeah, I don't catch them all, but with UFC Fight Pass and ESPN and YouTube, it's getting easier to catch a lot of them.
Now, do you watch events other than the UFC, or do you primarily focus on that?
Yeah, no, I watch Top Rank Boxing. I watch Bare Knuckle Boxing. I watch the smaller shows, Fury, LFA, Combate.
Wow.
TC. I've been watching more Team Combat League.
Do you DVR it, or are you watching? Are you trying to watch as many of them as you can live?
Um, if I know, like if they're kind of overlapping, then I'd probably miss it. But sometimes I'll have one on my phone and one on the TV.
You're still dedicated person. Yeah, it's for me. It is interesting because like I lived in Japan during the Pride days. Probably the height of Pride.
Yeah,
So I went to those shows a lot. I was going to shows like Shuto, Pancrase, K1, and then
nice.
so when it, I still feel like I can watch them, try to watch as many as I can, and still be interested. But I can
Hmm.
see how it could be challenging for people who maybe don't love it, like you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, oh,
No.
there's too many events. We need less events. Or it,
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird conversation. I think it's because a lot of fans are looking at it that way. They just want only big cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that
Definitely.
it's difficult because the UFC has put out so much content. And their their bosses are different now. You know,
Hmm.
back in the old days, the bosses were the fans. The fans aren't the boss of the UFC anymore. Shareholders and things like that now. So it's a different animal than it was before.
Yeah, it is. Everything in the game has evolved, even to that.
Now, there are some interesting fights coming up, like this Topuria Oliveira fight. Like, what do you think about that one?
I'm excited. I'm actually going to be there, so I'm excited.
Uh,
Yeah. God, I don't know. It was scary. Don't want Oliveira to lose, but it's a tough one.
yeah, I think it might be hard for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're saying, but you never know when a guy's moving up. You never know if that'll show or not.
Right.
How many events have you gone to live? You say you're going to this one. How many that would be for you?
Honestly, not too many. Like 5 to 8 around there. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it that you just didn't want to catch that many, or
They're expensive.
yeah, that too.
and
Yeah, I went to the one
I
in
and like
Dallas.
honestly, sometimes I feel like it's better to watch at home because when I'm there, I'm watching, but I'm also mingling and not locked in on the actual event sometimes. So I feel like sometimes I'd rather watch them at home because I'm actually watching the fight, rather than being at the event. The event is more like is also like a social gathering too, so it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, for y'all being in Vegas, I bet it is because you see all the same people.
Yeah, like even with the Canelo Crawford fight, like that's gonna be at Allegiant Stadium, and I'm like, damn, do I want to go or do I want to watch it so I could see it on the TV and like actually catch every round in a good way?
Yeah, like in your case where you have the ability to go. But it is. I feel like it's easier to see everything obviously on TV. You have a better view usually. Even if
Get
you're
a
close,
replay,
even if you're close, the view can be
cosplay, that shit. Yeah.
obscured. So yeah, I think I went to the one in Dallas. It's cool to go, but you're right, it's expensive. Um, yeah, it adds up for sure.
It sure does. It's a good time though. I'm excited.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy because I went to like pride events for nothing compared to that.
No, yeah, I
And
bet.
those were huge events. Everyone wanted to go to that. So
Right.
it wasn't because of the demand. The demand was there, but just the ticket prices weren't. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's wild
It's
how
just
that is.
inflation.
Tell me a little bit. I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit more. How you're talking about like social gatherings, the scene in Vegas. Being at these events. What do you think about? I mean, you seem like a social person. Like you enjoy talking to people and stuff. But I'm trying to
Yeah, no,
think of
it's
the right.
fun. It's fun. You run into a lot of people, that you've trained with. Um, yeah, you run into a lot of people from the game, like or somebody from this gym or this gym or like a manager or a coach or you always run into somebody, so it's always fun.
Yeah.
And then being in Vegas, like I also work here, so sometimes I run into people from work, so you're always running into somebody here. It's actually a very small town.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that. Even though a lot of people come, the people that live there,
Yeah.
the bubble's smaller. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of fascinating. I need to go out there at some point. It's just for
Definitely.
me. I've been like, yeah, I'm not into gambling and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
so I just kind
I
of
don't
stay away
gamble.
from it. But
I don't, yeah. I mean, nobody, I don't know. Like, I know some people that gamble a lot, but most of the people I know and hang out with don't gamble at all.
right, so for me, it's like I don't. I like the fight game, but I don't know if I went to Vegas. I don't gamble. I don't party. I don't do that stuff, so I don't know
You can,
how it will work out for me.
that you're just thinking Vegas. People that live here don't do that. They
Yeah,
live
yeah, that's what
normal.
I'm saying. So I don't know what I would do if I did go there. You know what I mean? I know people there, so I could probably just hang out with certain people. But
Yeah.
yeah. So let me ask you about some of these other things. You mentioned Canelo Crawford. This is going to be a big fight, going to be on Netflix and all this. What do you think about that fight? I mean,
I'm excited. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's gonna be a dog fight. I think, you know, Crawford ain't gonna be running like these other guys that Canelo's fighting. Crawford's coming to fight. Crawford's, he's coming to get his win. He's coming for his bag. He's got like that old like he's like one of the last of like the old old school fighter in him. Actually comes to fight. He's cut from that cloth like all them. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good fight. But it's Canelo, so it's not like you can just say that Crawford's gonna win, but it's Canelo. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited.
do you think the moving up two weight classes is going to be a problem for him or no?
No, I don't think so.
You think his ability? I mean, he's got tremendous skill. Both
Yeah,
of them do, but that's the only thing I wonder about. He's not moving up one; he's moving up two.
yeah.
Canel's been fighting up here, so.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yeah. It is a lot, but I mean, I'm talking Amanda Serrano. She's a champion in 7 different divisions. Like it can be done.
right, and like you said, I don't think Canel's going to be able to coast like he does against a lot of people,
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
because of the skill level.
Right.
of the opponent.
It's
What do
a
you think of,
good.
like, who are some other? Because I know you watch Top Rank. You were saying, who are some of the other boxers that you?
I like, Michaela Mayer. I like watching Tank, Rolly. Mm,
Have you watched Inoue at all?
who?
Inoue.
Yeah, I like him. And then what's
Yeah.
the I can't think of his name right now. Excuse me, I need to grab some water. But he fought Gabe Rosado, Mangui. I like him. Sorry.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem.
I'm coming down from a cold. Yeah,
Yeah. I know how it is out here. But yeah, it's kind of envy you because you can kind of see all these different things, um, and you're able to kind of immerse yourself in a way.
I try.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Like, your YouTube channel. Let's kind of talk about the future. Kind of, what do you think you're kind of planning? Are you just going to talk to people, or what's kind of
To be honest, I
your
don't know. Like I
goal with
said,
it?
I just started it, and I'm honestly just kind of going as I go, finding it as I go. I would like to, eventually create my own podcast space and maybe try to make them more frequent. Um, but I also want to be like, I would love to get in a commentary or, like doing reporting for Tough Enough, maybe grow in that. And like, who knows what doors that could open in the reporting side. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different avenues that could be taken.
How challenging is it though? I mean, you've done a little bit of it already. How challenging is it to maybe get gigs?
It's challenging. I mean, I don't have gig. The only gig I have is Tough Enough, and the announcing. But yeah, it is kind of tough to get some. Like I've reached out to some other promotions, but never really get much back. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty hard. I'm
Yeah.
lucky. I'm super blessed that I'm working with Tough Enough. I'm literally learning as I go with one of the biggest promotions right now, like under the UFC, of course.
How did it come about that deal?
Um, Justin Bernard, the announcer for them, is who helped me kind of prepare for my announcing gig. And then, I just told him if there's ever anything for me to do with Tough Enough, I would love to be considered. And then he presented the reporting gig to me, and I took it. And yeah, we've been just rolling with it. We've done 2 shows so far. The next one is the weekend of POWERSLAP. It's on that Sunday, the day after the UFC 317 fights with Oliveira and Ilya. So yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend, a good card. I'm excited.
So you're gonna do some work and power slap?
Yep. Power Slap Friday, UFC Saturday, Tough Enough Sunday.
As long as you're recovered from the
I'll be
slaps.
just fine.
I don't know. Some of that stuff seems pretty intense. Like some of those people take some damage. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
for sure. But yeah, it's. What do you think about MMA YouTube in general? Like, do you watch some of this other stuff or no?
Honestly, no. I'm so busy, like with everything I got going on.
Because it is kind of. I don't know. I feel like almost if you're more extreme, you get more attention on MMA in the MMA YouTube kind of space. I would say.
Yeah, I haven't really yet. Every once in a while, like I'll listen to an interview, or I've been really actually into the podcast Good Guy Bad Guy with Chell and DC. I've been really into that. I do a lot of stuff. I feel like I watch a lot more stuff on like ESPN. The Good Guy Bad Guy, the Embedded. I watch the Tough Enough. I'm sorry, Ultimate Fighter, Tough House, and Contender Series is about to start. And then they got tomorrow the new Road to Champion, the new BJJ show that they're doing. That starts tomorrow, so I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're gonna do with that. As far as like I know it's gonna be kind of a reality show, but I don't know if they're gonna.
Yeah, it's just like the Ultimate Fighter, but with jujitsu.
They're gonna have him in the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, it's kind of funny. I guess I don't know. They could do something different. You know, they don't have to have them live with each other. I guess, but because I made a joke about that. Are they gonna live in a house together? I wasn't serious when I said that, but they are doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like do something different. I don't know what it would be though. It's easy for me to say that, but
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. I think it's great. I think making them live in the house add is like just a part of what it is because that heightens all of their their reactions, their emotions, and then they have to go and fight against each other. It's like a big portion of the whole show, being able to fight under those circumstances.
and attack each other in the house.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. For me, I was like hoping they wouldn't do that, but
Yeah. I've had so much fun talking to you, but I do
yeah,
gotta get going.
yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate taking the time, and maybe before I let you go, if you got something you want to like tell people about, or something we didn't talk about, or something that's important to you.
No, not really. Just thank you guys for supporting me. Go ahead and give me a follow. Go to my YouTube in the corner with Destiny McCubbin. Subscribe, like, do all the things. Like I said, I'm new here, but I'm gonna get better. So just stay rocking with me. Thank you.
Yeah, Destiny, I appreciate you taking time, and good luck in Power Slap, and with your
Thank you
other
so much.
ventures, YouTube and everything.
Thanks, Todd. You have a good one.
You too, everybody. Appreciate checking out the episode. Take care.
Bye-bye.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Virgo Queen here, and you are watching The Todd Atkins Show. Todd has been involved in covering the sport of mixed martial arts since the 1990s while living in Hawaii and Japan. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for future episodes.